Hi everyone, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Today's a wonderful day. Today's a beautiful day, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and I shall rejoice and be glad in it. And this is Morning Coffee with Jesus. Morning Coffee with Jesus is dedicated to Jesus Christ. It is for His glory, and everything I say is placed on my heart by the power of His Holy Spirit. The message today is I am preparing my bride as we speak. The bridegroom is preparing his bride. Now, how is the bridegroom preparing his bride? He's preparing the hearts of his bride. I am every day God is teaching me something new. He calls me his bride. We are his bride. We are the bride of Christ. The body of Christ is the bride of Christ. And he loves his bride so very much. But most of you are still asleep, and most of you are lukewarm, and most of you are not ready. And if you are not ready, you will not go when he comes to get his bride. You will stay here. But so he's calling his bride right now. He's calling his bride to be prepared. So I've been getting messages upon messages from him. I got a message in the morning time saying he's telling him, I'm coming for my bride. I'm coming for my people. And then in the evening when I was in meditation again, I heard it again because I'm fasting and praying these days. I do at least try to do about 3 or 4 day fast, 3 days, let's say 3 days fast every week. To be honest, 3 days fast. And fasting and praying really, really helps a lot. It helps you as a person because fasting and praying gives deliverance. It gives deliverance. When you pray and you fast and you fast from things, it helps you to be delivered from things, And I have noticed that there are things that have been hidden. Last night God brought something to me in the middle of the night in a dream. And then when I woke up, he said, let it go to me, let it go to me. We hide, there are certain things we hide and we put in a closet and we lock it away in a safe. Like, we don't want to remember it anymore because it has been a very hurtful pain that we pass through, Because we go through hurts in our life. People betray us, people reject us, people abandon us. So many hurts we have to go through in life. It's so sad, and as I'm seeing things more clearly, because God is just making me see things so much more clearly, we truly hurt each other, and that's so sad. So God brought something to light to me last night, and he said, let it go to me now, let it go to me. And I said, Lord, I forgot about it and I forgave that already. And he says, yes, but you locked it away, and I felt that pain and that grief that you had to go through, because it was a terrible pain and grief, and it was. And that was with my first husband, because I know some of you might want to know what it is, so let me share what it is. With my because he did tell me that my life would be a testimony for others. When I was very young, I got that word, and when I was in my 20s, he told me that what you have to experience. That was after my first husband died, and that was a terrible loss for me, and it was such a terrible grief and a terrible loss for me, because I lost him before he died. He was on drugs. He was the person who abused drugs, and his addiction was so bad, He didn't want to give it up, not even for his wife and his 2 children. And I felt abandoned by that, and I didn't realize that it took a toll on me in that way, because I was always the type of person to try to have a face for people. I would put a smile on my face, and I would pretend as if everything is good, and I wouldn't want my friends to think anything is hurting me, and I would try to be strong, and they wouldn't know what I'm going through really down deep inside, the ones that I was close to in that time. And but the Lord showed me last night that truly had a effect on me that was really bad, and it started a cycle of things that happened in my life, a cycle of hurts that happened in my life after that. And it's good to know that. So with that first experience I had in my early 20s, because I got married when I was about 20 years old, and then I had my 2 children very young. And then I started to see certain signs in my husband when I had my second daughter, when I had my first daughter, sorry, and with the drugs, he would start to do weird stuff. He was never abusive, but he would go into the bathroom and he would stay long hours. He would do some really, really weird things. And I felt abandoned from then. The Lord showed me that was abandonment. That was abandonment. I didn't even know that. And feeling rejected by it is the fact that he did not choose his family before the drugs. He chose the drugs, and he wanted the drugs. He didn't want to let it go, even though we tried to help him with it, but he did not even go to rehab. And then so I lost him then, but I had to leave because of the fact that everything in my home was being sold out. He sold out everything in the little house we had, the little apartment we had. He sold out everything, and I had to leave. So I lost him then. I made up my mind that I lost him then. And then he died after. He died a few years after with a sickness. And he didn't die of overdose. He died with a sickness. And so the Lord showed me last night that took a toll on you. That simple event in your life, that really, really took a toll on you. You didn't want to feel it. So what I did with it is that I locked it up in a place, in a closet, what you call it, or a safe, and locked it up and kept it there. And Holy Spirit was doing some house cleaning last night, and he found it. And he brought it to light to me, and he said, now you have to let it go to me. Jesus wants to heal you. Jesus is healing you, and he wants you to let it go. And the Lord was so sweet. God is so gracious, and he's so sweet, and he's really absolutely amazing. Jesus Christ is the best friend that you can ever have. And he I asked him this morning, I said, what do you want me to speak about? He said, speak from the heart, because he knows I wouldn't come out with these things, because he knows I wouldn't. If he says to speak it, I most likely wouldn't speak about it. He says, speak from the heart, and I did. I'm speaking from the heart. So Jesus is so absolutely amazing. He said, let it go to me. And then he was explaining to me certain things, more personal stuff between Jesus and myself, and how much he loves me, and and how he feels the griefs of his children. He felt my grief, and he felt my pain, and he does feel our grief and our pain. Jesus does feel it, even though I might have not tried to feel it, because I remembered for a certain time in my life. At that time, I didn't even want to hear the name of my first husband. I didn't even want to hear his name. I didn't like when anybody spoke about him. I just tried to lock him out of my mind completely and just move on with my life, which is not a good thing to do. It's not a good thing to do. I'm telling you from experience. You have to face the grief. You must face the grief, and you must face it head on and let it go to God. And let God heal it one time. I didn't want to face it head on. I just wanted to lock it up in a closet, lock it up and not think about it anymore. And no, that's not a good thing to do. So from my experience, I'm telling you, if you have to go through grief, because we will go through grief, face the grief head on, and then let it go to God and let him heal you. That's the best thing to do. That's the best thing to do. But he's healing me slowly but surely, because I've been through a lot. The enemy was after me, and even showed me that. He even showed me that the enemy was after me from very young. Very young. He said, I chose you. You were mine, always mine. And he says there's so many things he wants to show me about me, myself. But he tried to get to me at a young age, because he knew what my destiny was. He knew what God had called me for. He knew who I was, just like how he knew who Jesus was. The enemy does know who you are, who you were meant to be. And he's out for you. He's come after you. He comes after the chosen ones, just like he was after Jesus. Jesus had it, There are things that the Bible doesn't have about Jesus, but Jesus was truly persecuted. Jesus had it. He had it too, He had the rejection, the abandonment. He felt all those things, and especially the fact that his own people didn't recognize him and they hated him. But so the enemy does try to come after God's children, but the Lord was saying to me, he would have never let the enemy take me out of his hands, because I was his and I am his forevermore. And he would not allow the enemy to take his out of his hands, to pluck him out of his hands. So I'll continue this video in another video, because I have to speak about the bridegroom. So have a wonderful day, my friends.